policies to build organizational structure. He is a certified master trainer in global contents of Toyota training system. He is also an active member of many professional HR organizations and social work field like NIPM, NHRD, NHRWA, Roshni Alumni Associations, etc. He is also passionate for Campus Connect programs to improve industry academy interactions in B school and technical institutions for youth development activities. He is also a corporate mentor for students in well-known B schools like IFIM. He is also into mentoring and has mentored many individuals in career planning as well. A warm welcome to you, sir. Our next speaker is Mr. Rajiv Vellur. He has completed his graduation in Tumkur. He has completed his mechanical engineering from Bangalore University. He has completed his MA in HR from Pondicherry University and is the first batch of next generation CHRO program from IIM Bangalore. He is a multilingual, including and knows languages like Kannada, Telugu, Tamil, Hindi, and English. He can also understand multiple other languages, including German. His work in Bengaluru, Pune, Mumbai, Ahmedabad, Delhi, Chennai, and Singapore as well. He has 13 plus years of experience in sales and then moved to HR in the last 14 years. In HR, he has managed recruitment, training, pan-India HR operations, and strategic HR projects. Currently working as head of corporate HR for Kames Group of companies. Kames is a leading automotive component manufacturing organization having 7 manufacturing units and 1 unit is in commissioning stage. It is a large manufacturer of auto components like connecting rods, hubs, flywheel, etc. for the automobiles OEMs. Rajesh sir as a humble, jovial, and a friendly person who is willing to help at all times. Welcome, sir. We are glad to have you here. Our next speaker is Mr. Shivanand Shetty. He is a mechanical engineer graduated from NITK, Suratkal. Post-graduation, he has done and post-graduation. He has joined Bosch and worked across functions like manufacturing, fields and design development of products. In common rail system, hydraulics and applications, simultaneous engineering for more than 5 years. PMI certified project manager, TS 16949 certified auditor, Six Sigma Green Belt, product safety and functional safety, and is also an expert for Bosch R&D. Thank you so much, sir, for being here today. Our fourth speaker is Mr. Rajiv Vellur. He is also from NIT Suratkal for engineering and metallurgy and metallurgical science. He has completed his MBA from Purdue University 2001. His first job was at Thermax in Mumbai in sales. He then completed MBA from Purdue University, USA, and then returned to India and worked in different industries. He was with Balco, Vedanta Group, and then International Flavors and Fragrances. He then started his own company dealing in foundry chemicals and consumables. He also co-founded a startup in global and community commerce. His hobbies and interests include reading, traveling, and swimming. Welcome, sir. Glad to have you here today.
Thank you.
I would now request Santosh sir to tell us about you, the opportunities and expectations from the mechanical engineers in the industry. Industrial Revolution 4.0. Over to you, sir.
Yeah, good evening. Thank you, Vaishnavi. Let's start my video. Can you see the PPT?
Yes, sir, it is starting. It is loading.
Okay. So thank you, Randman, for giving this opportunity. First of all, let me congratulate Dr. Subhashini for this wonderful job she is doing empowering students. I think it's a great record of empowering more than 45,000 students. So thank you, madam. Thank you, Mr. Narasimhan, also for connecting me for this program. Uh, Today, I would like to share my thoughts. Maybe the contents are like this. So maybe next, maybe 12 to 15 minutes, I would like to share my thoughts. Yeah, basically, I'm just going to touch upon my company background, maybe some of the challenges, because we are talking about the role of the engineers. So this is directly connected to the challenges faced by the business. Then the changing roles and also industry expectation and some of the suggestions. So I guess many of the participants here are students. So definitely, I have to give some tips about this. And in terms of flow of my thoughts, maybe somewhere you may feel that it is mixed up because I have tried to bring my own perspectives, my company perspective, and also some of the issues at macro level. So just to brief about Toyota, I think many of you know about that. So although I am part of Toyota Industries Corporation, this is a part of Toyota Motor Corporation. So Toyota Motor Corporation is a car making company, as you all know. So existing in more than 8 continents and also having more than 3.6 lakh members in the family. However, my parent company, it is not Toyota Motor Corporation, it is Toyota Industries Corporation. This is a company, we are into vehicle component making. So we have three verticals here. So we have materials handling equipment, what we call is forklift. We are almost number one in this segment. Then we have, automobile, where we make various parts like engines and air conditioning, etc. Then we also have the textile machineries. I don't know, maybe some of you may be knowing. So Toyota started its business with textile making machine. That is what the initial business. Then it got into car making. So currently, we have about 67,000 associates worldwide, and we are ranked number two in world's most admired companies in 2020 in vehicle parts supply. Just more. Can you reshare this PPT? I think it is not moving. Yeah. I'm sorry, there is some problem in sharing this.
It's visible.
Is it visible? No, it's only thing is it's not moving. Yeah, sorry. Yeah, I'd just like to touch upon the company which I belong to. While I spoke about the mother company Japan, so actually I belong to this company called Toyota Engine India. This is the first company in India that's a joint venture between Kirloskar Systems and Toyota Group. So as a company, it was established in 1995 under the name of Kirloskar Toyota Textile Machinery. We were making the textile machines. In 2012, we started the business of making automobile components, and in 2015, we got demerged for business purpose, and we established the engine plant. So 2016 onwards, we have been making the GD engines. So this engine goes and get fitted to the well-known, very popular vehicle like Krista as well as the Fortuner. And this was one of the projects under Make in India concept. Earlier, Toyota used to import the engines for the vehicles, but now it makes in India. So this is the capacity. So we have about 136,000 engine making capacity in our plant, and also auto parts we have 115,000 here. And of course, last year because of COVID, the production was little low. So we are proud to be part of this, market leader vehicles. So let me just quickly touch upon some of the challenges. I'm sure Rajiv is there; she will also agree with me. So basically, business is facing a lot of challenges, like especially in our automobile business, we have the employee customer preferences changing. Like now, we have mobility preferences. Then we have a company like Quick Ride, which is coming. We have options for car lease companies, right? So and also the regulations. So stricter norms are coming. We have say cafe norms coming, wherein we have to produce better engines. Technology is changing. Competition in terms of cost, there are collaboration mergers happening because of the competitions. Localization has to happen because we have to be competitive in terms of cost. But today we are talking about the HRD, where the challenge is to get the future-ready workforce with the skills what we require for industry 4, and also diversity. For example, now we focusing on diversity, which could be the gender-based or it could be physically challenged, kind of things. And we have to have hybrid workforce in the future. So why I am telling this? This is going to be a challenge, and this is going to decide the future of the engineers. So also this is collaborated with some of the facts. So you may be wondering. So if you look at here, India, it's going to have a very tough competition in terms of skills. So every year we have almost 15 people entering the job market, and more than 11,000 engineering college. We have 1.6 million students coming out. But if you look at the skills, only 2% of them they have to go skill as per the surveys, and only 7% of engineers they're employable in core engineering. It's very shocking. And at the same time, the large scale disruption is happening, be it a big data, those we are going to talk about that. And automation, of course, that is a priority now. And upskilling of existing workforce, that itself is a challenge for us. And one projection says 200 million will enter job market next 10 years. So why I'm telling is, as engineers, we must understand the challenges and we must get prepared for these kind of challenges in the future. This is again the survey which shows that the employability of especially the mechanical design engineers here, it's only 7%. So this kind of data is again it's scary. So now, as I said, the role of engineers, it is integrated with the business. So the business is changing. You can see, how the products are getting outdated. The products what we have seen few years back, it's not there. Companies what we were seeing few years back, they are not there. Many companies are surviving from decades. Maybe they are very adaptable. They have changed their products. They have changed their strategies. Yeah. So considering this, rapid changes are happening for survival. This is not nothing to do with the industry for. This is basically for survival. So that is the one aspect which has to be kept by the engineers. At the same time, while one side we struggle for survival, other side we have technological disruption happening very rapidly. We talk about now, you know, uh, bots. We talk about say 3Ds here. We talk about artificial intelligence, Internet of Things, so many things, robotics, which is becoming very popular. Yeah. So, but are we really prepared? That is the question. I would like to pose to the institutes as well as budding engineers here. Yeah. In fact, recently we were interacting with one of the batch of the internship students. They were really telling that 3D technology they have just heard, but they really don't know. And some colleges they recently started this AI course, but how far it is becoming popular, whether students are understanding this. This is going to be a challenge in the coming days. So understand, the students have to pick up these kind of changes happening in the industry, and they need to upskill themselves for the digital area. So ultimately, it's going to be Yuga world. All of us know about this. So it's going to be volatile, where the engineers has to be, very good in terms of having their own vision, because these changes are going to be very risky and they will cause instability. Then uncertainty, the understanding level of the engineers, it has to be very wide. They need to have different perspectives because there could be direction paralysis. And complexity, in terms of clarity, they must have very good clarity. In fact, we have been seeing, especially when we hire, we talk to the engineers. This is the one thing which definitely I feel that many engineers they do not have clarity in what they speak. In fact, recently again I was just quoting that interaction. The basics itself is missing. I think that is where the engineers have to work on that. Then ambiguity. The engineers have to be very agile to cope up with these kind of drastic changes. So let me talk about these changing roles in specific. While I spoke about the concept, but ultimately, if you look at the industry, at least when I consider my own industry, engineers are taking over almost all the roles. Earlier, we had a technical role, not technical roles, but at least in our company or in Toyota Group, we do not look at these technical area, non-technical areas. Yeah. So we had a HR person who was handling manufacturing, right? Now, at least my boss, who is HR person, he's from production. He was in a painting shop. He's a technical person. He doesn't know anything about HR as a professional actually, but he has the knowledge. So be it business, planning, cost leaders, etc. So everywhere this scope for the engineers now that is improving. So in that way, I think engineers are not seen just as engineers. While the conventional role as production supervisor, etc., that will continue. At the same time, production support, again, some conventional roles will be there. At the same time, other areas, it could be, like, for example, safety. I have many engineers in my safety team, right? Environment, HR. I have maybe some of the HR team, they are purely technical people. They are not nothing to do with HR, professional qualification, etc. So in that way, I think that role is getting expanded. So engineers need to get prepared with that. So we also speak about this big data analytics, some simulation of real workplace that is going to get popular in the coming days in industry 4. Supply development. Normally, these companies now actually it is not that just the one company develops, but ultimately they need to look at the supply chain, right? So how to understand the customer company expectation and develop the supplier. So engineers are required there. But more important is the projects where we spoke about this AI and other things. We take it to the projects. So these project leaders, these engineers are the key persons. LCA, as we spoke about the automation is going to be key, but automation cannot be at cost. So it has to be low cost automation. So how the engineers can contribute by way of their creativity. So this LCA is going to be very, very key. Karakuri, again, it's basically our Japanese word where we speak about gravity, how the automation can be done with simple, gravity techniques, etc. AGVs, nowadays we have many in the plant, many AGVs running around, maybe on the magnetic strips. So these are all internally developed by our own engineers. So these engineers now no more, they are just shop floor supervisors, but they are the people who are going to contribute to the company by their own creativity, innovations, and such. Other area, of course, some earlier we are not seeing this CSR, industry board support, those were not there. But the very important thing is the training. Now with the digitalization happening, a lot of engineers are required for the training area. Now, in fact, we recently introduced this VRs, right? So VR is going to be a key. So virtual reality trainings, then digital e-learnings are going to be there. So the content developers. So we definitely require, engineers with some plus alpha skills for the content development. Then, of course, the sales marketing, that's a different altogether. But ultimately, what I'm telling is the engineers are required, but with some plus alpha skills, they will excel and they have a lot of opportunities in the coming days. Expectation, at least, okay, I will not touch in detail on this. Basically, while technical skills are required, basically in a Toyota, we think that people can be developed. So we hire for attitude. And as I said, basically we believe in on-the-job training. So what is required is basically willingness to unlearn. There are many things which people have to unlearn and they have to pick up the new things very quickly. Adaptability, as I said, they should be adaptable to learn the new function, get into the new role in terms of working hours, those things. Because many times when I interview people, they're not flexible. Sometimes curiously I ask, okay, you're an engineer, are you willing to work in HR department? They say no, right? So these kind of things will not work in the future, right? So the passion that I'm going to touch upon a little later. Then the value addition orientation, we always think that Kaizen mind. So if one process is done in one way now, how it can be different tomorrow? So continuous improvement, that's what we call Kaizen mind. So that is required. So be it today or be it tomorrow. Then ability to go extra mile. How engineer think that he can add something, how he can create that wow factor in the company, how we can add the additional value because of these efforts. I think that is going to be key. Yeah. So this is what I said. Basically, engineers, if they have the passion and pride in their profession, they can contribute a lot. Then they go all out. So then they can excel. But many times the engineering profession is, taken either for the force because many parents they say that their son has to become engineer, or because of some other compulsion. So such people cannot excel in the coming days. Strong in basics. and knowledge upgradation. So especially as we said, the things are changing in the workplace. Adaptability in terms of job, in terms of contract. Nowadays we don't look at permanent employment, right? But even if the contract, please go and take it. So that will be, that will give you a lot of value addition and you can learn many things. Yeah. Communication, selling oneself. This is one thing actually, especially the freshers. I would like to say that when I check the students or the fresher candidates about their project work, that is the one thing which definitely they can rely on because they have done that, but they themselves are not clear about why that project is done, what value addition is done to him, what is the learning from that, what is the reflection. They never able to sell that. So whatever you have, please sell yourself in the interviews. SWOT based experiences. Based on the experience, please have your own strength, weakness, opportunity, threat, and develop on that. Then upgrade, update, utilize learning opportunity. So even if there is a small opportunity for you to learn, even if there's a small internship opportunity, it may not be paid. So some company is offering you something, then please take it. Please utilize that. Yeah, especially in the, it could be any industry, but if you get an opportunity for learning, then please utilize that. So this is the kind of tips I would like to give to freshers. In terms of job skills, of course, this kind of skills are available, so I'm not going to touch upon that in detail. So also technical skills. So what is required in the future for what area, that is also is available. So this I can share the content later. So ultimately, I just want to close with the close that scientists investigate that which already is, right, but engineers are beyond that. They create that which has never been. So this is said by Albert Einstein. So with this, I would like to close my thoughts. So thank you for giving this opportunity. Thank you very much. Vaishnavi, back to you.
Thank you, sir. And for taking us through the entire from start to end of the questions that we wanted you to address on. You've rightly mentioned that engineers should are taking up every role and hence have a lot of opportunities in the industry, but they should also have skills that set them different along with adaptability, and they should also take up internships in order to develop and get a hands-on experience of everything of the job they have. Thank you very much, sir. Now request Rajiv sir to tell us about you, the company, and the scopes for mechanical engineers, especially when it comes. Am I audible? I would now request Rajiv sir to tell us about you, the company, and also the scopes for mechanical engineers when it comes to the ongoing transformation from traditional manufacturing to smart technology, the IR4 as we call it as. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Vaishnavi. Thank you. Yeah. I would like to begin with, a quote. Engineers are the ones who make things happen. Yeah. Being a mechanical engineer, I believe that very, very strongly. I'm not seeing much of interaction in the chat box. Maybe, after lunch, this may be a wrong time, but I would like to see a lot of comments, questions coming out in the chat box. Yeah. How many of you guys agree that mechanical engineers will make changes for India? Make in India can happen only by mechanical engineers. You agree? Yes, great. Fantastic. Super. Okay. I don't have, I didn't get time to make PPT. But let me explain you in brief about KEMS as an organization. Let me just hold on. Let me just try and see if I have something. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Can you see my screen?
Yes, sir, it is visible.
Yeah. Okay. CHEMS is a Gandhi group of companies. We are one of the major automobile components manufacturing company. More to do with hot forging, open die forging, closed die forging, die casting, assemblies and sub-assemblies for the engineering industry. This is how we have grown through the years. And these are some of the components that we manufacture. These are the kind of equipments that we have. All the mechanical engineers must have seen this. May have done this forging by hand, in the first year or the second year of the labs. But these are all mechanical equipments that do the forging. These are some of our hot components which move in the market very fast. We have other processes like finishing, coining, then detectors, and then lab, whatever we have. Then the die manufacturing units and some of our clients that we cater to. These are some of our clients. Yeah, I would like to touch upon yeah, I would like to touch upon a few things which not much in terms of other details, but few tips and tricks that just adding some more points to what Santosh sir told you about. Only 7% people are employable in core engineering. Yeah, that's a very scary statistics that we are all looking at. Few tips that I would like to give is one thing, you should be ready to unlearn or forget everything and then ready to start fresh in terms of whatever are the skills that you are picking up on the shop floor. Yeah. Anybody, any mechanical engineer, I would request them to add shop floor skills as their primary skills. Work on the shop floor. You will learn in 1 year whatever you have learned in 4 years in your engineering college. You have more on the machines, the processes, and in-depth knowledge of. And also, one more interesting thing is you can actually see the transformation from a small iron rod. I talk specifically about the forging industry. An iron rod or an iron bar, getting converted into automotive component in front of your eyes. That's so much of a joy to look at. Not everybody gets that opportunity to look at that. Sorry. Then the flexibility, you should have flexibility, to work in, say, maintenance department, quality control, inspection, production, or even as an assistant to somebody like a CTO, where you can pick up some of the general skills as well as in-depth skills which the people are having possessing of knowledge. Most important thing for any of you guys, which I would like to advise, is have a service mindset. Always look at how can I contribute more. How can I contribute more with whatever work has been assigned to me? How can I contribute more? Yeah? That will help you to absorb a lot of skills which are not directly imbibed into you. Yeah. The next advice I would like to give is have your email addresses clear. Yeah, I receive emails from all kinds of email IDs. Say, for example, Rahul with a sword, Loverboy143. All these things. All that can happen is your email will not even be looked at. They just get into the spam box. Either they're just marked spam and it's over. You will never ever be able to write to that whoever you are writing to. You will never be able to write. You just have a simple email ID. Like I can see some name Srinivasan R, like srinivasan.r. If you don't get that email ID, maybe add a number of your year or your graduation year, something like that. That makes your email ID more attractive, and also attractive for anybody to open that email first of all. Then the next thing which I would like to also tell you is you should be able to write a short note about yourself, maybe in just a paragraph explaining about why are you applying for that particular job. Not an entire page and copy pasted from Google, but a short paragraph about yourself. Very short paragraph, like like Vikas Kumar is smiling a lot. Yeah, Vikas, I can see that. Yeah. So if you can write a short note about yourself and then explain why are you applying for that particular job. You need to do a lot of research on why are you applying for that particular company and for that particular job. That if you can explain within a paragraph or two, that will make your application more attractive, and definitely 100% you will be called for an interview and you get a chance to meet and explain yourself. Yeah. And also once you reach that interview stage, I have interviewed hundreds of fresh engineers, and I am so disappointed. They can't explain a simple question, what is GD&T. They struggle to explain me what is GD&T. And I can confuse people very easily with first angle and third angle projection. I just give them a drawing and then ask them, what is this, a first angle or a third angle projection drawing? They just can't. They struggle to explain that. And I confuse them more very easily by telling them, no, this is a second angle or a fourth angle projection. They can't make out the difference between a first angle, second angle, third angle, or a fourth angle projection. So, your basic concepts have to be very, very, very clear in terms of whatever you're talking about, whatever little you know. We don't expect you to know everything, but whatever little you know, you need to have it with absolute clarity. Like also, Santosh sir explained, can you explain your project very well? That's one of the key things that I always ask the fresh engineers. Can you explain what project did you do in your final year? And the third or the fourth question they get stuck from why did they choose that particular project, and what are the benefits that it will give for the person who is using that particular whatever they have done as part of the project. Like I can just give an example that somebody did an helmet which will detect whether that person is drunk and the engine will not start. I asked him a simple question: if that person already knows that he is drunk, why will he wear that helmet when he knows that the engine will not start? They can't explain. So with some purpose you would have picked up that particular project. You should be able to explain that particular purpose, and then also come out with a solution where you have done something. You have put in a lot of hard work in terms of completing that project. You should be able to explain that in a much better way. Yeah, if you have done an AutoCAD course or a Pro-E or a SolidWorks, you should be able to showcase your projects. You can always carry your laptop or to the interview and then showcase what you have done. It gives more confidence to the person listening to you in terms of, okay, yes, this person is actually interested, and then they can do much more than what is expected. Am I making sense? There is silence again. Am I making sense, or do you have any questions which I can answer at this point of time? Anyway, I will pick up more questions in the end, but right now, am I making sense? Yes. Okay. Thank you. Great. Fantastic. The next thing which I would like to advise is have your oral skills and written skills improved. Very important. If at all you are hired, you will be hired for how you can explain better than how you can do the work better. If you cannot explain what you have done, nobody will understand it. Maybe you are very good in your work, but if you can't explain it, it's difficult for the person sitting in front of you to understand. They'll really struggle, and then other candidate who can speak better will always be hired, will always be given preference over you, right? Okay, next skill that I would like to also talk about is being engineers. We all being mechanical engineers, and I am proud to be a mechanical engineer myself. Being mechanical engineers, we all are given a great opportunity and a thinking mind to look at these automation mini projects. Of course, Santosh sir, picked up those particular things. But the low cost automation is definitely the key. Whatever small things which we can automate. Even if you can do a small research about the company which you are going for an interview, and then think about what is that you can automate in that particular company. What are the ideas that you can bring into the table uh, in that particular instance. Maybe you are wrong, you don't know, but definitely you have taken that effort to go through their site, to look at what kind of machines they have and what is that you can contribute beyond your work purview that is being offered to you. That will really help you out. Yeah. And the general roles that are usually offered are production supervisors, shift supervisors, maintenance, quality, but I would like most of the mechanical engineers to pick up HR as a skill. They need to start looking at HR. I'll tell you something. Being a mechanical engineer working in a manufacturing industry as an HR, it will give a great edge than any other HR person in that particular unit or the factory. No one else can understand better than a mechanical engineer. No one else, including the processes. It's easy for mechanical engineers to pick it up, and then maybe you can then become trainers and then move up the ladder in HR. I would definitely would advise more and more mechanical engineers to look at HR as a career option. With that, I think I'll stop here. And I'll pick up few questions in the end. I think I am well within the time that was given to me. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir, for that, for those wonderful insights, and also giving us some useful tips which are indeed very useful while applying for jobs. Also highlighting the importance of having your basics right and also be able to communicate well with what you have done. Thank you very much, sir. I would now request
Thank you,
Shivanand sir to
Vaishnavi. Thank you.
tell us. Thank you, sir. I would now request Shivanand sir to tell us about your experiences in the field of research and development, and also enlighten us with the latest trends in the inventions and technology in the field of mechanical engineering. Over to you, sir.
Yeah, can you hear me and can you see the slide?
Yes, sir. Sir, we can hear you, but I think you have not presented yet.
Can you see now?
No, sir.
1 minute. Deshmukh, Vaishnavi, it is not allowing to share.
Just a second, sir.
Shivanand, you are the co-host. You should be able to share. You want to just...
Can't display your shared content. Make sure that you have allowed permission to share content.
Sir, you are the co-host, so you have the permissions.
One minute. Shall I rejoin? Otherwise, let me.
Sure. Is it all right? Can we get Ravi started?
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be great. Ravi sir, if you're there online.
I'm here. Okay, let me start. Hold on. Okay, I'm sharing my screen now.
Yes, sir. Ravi,
Is it visible?
explaining us documents.
Yes, it is.
Okay, good. Vaishnavi, you were saying something? Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, sir, we can hear you. And yes, the screen is visible now.
Okay, good afternoon,
Ravi,
everyone. Thank you, Rare Minds, for this opportunity to talk to the students, the new generation of mechanical engineers who I'm sure are wanting to go out there and, follow their dreams and change the world. So I will be talking a little about what I have sort of learned over the last several years in which I've been working in corporates and also in my journey of entrepreneurship. And I would like to share some of that thoughts in the form of a framework. So what I believe is that today information is truly universal and truly accessible by anybody, right? So there is no reason I should have a higher degree of access to information than any one of you out there, because the internet is only a click away. And if you want information on anything, all you need to do is type it in and you'll have more than what you can read or handle. But having said that, what I would like to emphasize is, what do you do with this information? How can you convert this information into usable knowledge? So information, when you structure it and you're able to derive uh, conclusions which others are not able to derive or others are not able to see, that is when you have an insight, or when you have a aha, eureka moment that yes, this is something that is possibly not well known, and this is something that is possibly I can use to my advantage in my business, in my work, or in whatever shape or form that I see fit, right? So I believe in sharing my experiences to give you to sort of provoke you into thinking, to give you a framework which you can then use to decide what you want to do with your life, what you would like to do in your career. And that doesn't matter if you're, or most of you or all of you are mechanical engineering graduates, and that's great. That was one of the branches I wanted to join when I did my engineering many years ago. But then mine was a merit seat, and I studied from National Institute of Technology, Karnataka, and the branch I was allotted based on my merit, based on my marks, was metallurgical and materials engineering, which in the long run worked out well. So there are no right or wrong things in life. It's what you do with what you get, right? So let me move on. Why is this not going to the... okay, so this is a quick profile of me. I have co-founded a company in the foundry industry. Like I said, my background is metallurgical and materials engineering. So we are a manufacturer and supplier of certain additives to foundries. Foundries are those industries which make castings. Castings are the basic building blocks in almost all industries, mechanical and machine-based industries. So any part that is too intricate and complex to be machined needs to be cast. So you pour molten metal into a liquid, into a mold, liquid metal into a mold, and you get the shape you want. And then there are certain other processes you do. I'm also the co-founder of e-Samudai, which is a local commerce. Local commerce is a term which we have coined to indicate e-commerce plus local business. And you can learn more about that at my company's website, esamudai.com. I've also put in my LinkedIn profile for your benefit in case you want to reach out to me. So I want to, make this a free-flowing discussion, and I want to understand, or rather make you think as to what drives you. So put a saying there: keep moving. If you can't fly, run. If you can't run, walk. If you can't walk, crawl, but keep moving, right? And this, I think, is something that which is we all need to imbibe, that no matter what the circumstances, you need to push yourself. And in order to push yourself, you need to have the right interest, the motivation, and the drive. And just building on what my earlier esteemed speakers spoke, one of the things which they spoke about was attitude and also being employable. And they spoke about, and just looking at all the people, there are more than 140 people who are participating in this webinar. But if I was an interview, I would hire only one, and I would hire only Vikas, because he's the only one whom I can see, right? And there's nobody else who I know whether they exist or not. So my point is, if you want to be seen out there, if you want to make a difference, you have to first show up. You have to be presentable. You have to make your presence felt. You can't be expected, can't expect to sit in your cocoon and be by yourself and still expect the world to come to you. If you want to go out there and make a difference, you have to go meet the world. And that is the first rule I think you need to understand. Be confident, be positive, and put yourself out there and push yourself to do what you truly believe drives you. And for that, I want you to think, I know this is too short a webinar for us to get into individually what each one of you finds interesting or motivating. But think about this, because this is the first step which will help you identify what you want to do with your life. And that brings me to my next slide, where, just hold on. Sorry.
It's just a network thing. So
Yeah,
if you give it a bit,
yes,
yeah.
Yes. Thank you. So that brings me to my next point, that career and life, right? And these, I believe, are closely interlinked, closely intertwined. You cannot, it's very difficult to separate one from the other. And it's something that, and which is why you have to give a lot of information, importance to this now. Now, all of you are, I understand, in your maybe third or final year of engineering. You're at the point where you'll be finishing, and you have to think what you want to do with your life. And why is this important? So let's look at the left-hand side of this slide. Why? Like I said, career and your life will be closely interlinked. It's difficult to separate one from the another. If you're unhappy in life, you'll be unhappy in your career. If you're unhappy in your career, you'll be unhappy in your life, right? So it's as simple as that. And this is something that will impact your life and your lifestyle. because how well you do at your career will obviously impact how you live your life, which is your lifestyle. And it will add purpose and meaning. If you do something that you believe in, if you do something that truly pushes you to get up and show up no matter what, then that will add purpose and it will add guidance to your, it will add meaning to your life. So which is why, this is why you need to address this question of what and why you want to do it. Understand what you want to do now. And like I said, why now? Because now you are all mechanical engineer, a basic direction has been set. You know where you want to go roughly. There is a certain amount of maturity. You have finished engineering. You have interacted with people, like-minded people. You have got inputs from your peers. You have been exposed to the university system. You have some exposure to the industry. So there is a certain level of maturity. And I'm sure every one of you will agree that you are far more mature now than, say, when you were in college, pre-university, 11th, 12th, or 10th. Because you have now experienced life, you have experienced college life, you have, like I said, you may have done projects, you may have interacted with industry professionals. So that brings with it a certain level of maturity and experience. And like I always say, there's never a better time than now. Like, right? If not now, then when? So now is when you want to decide where you want to go. And what should you use to decide? So you obviously need to understand what are your interests, what is your passion and motivation, right? What is it that will keep you awake at night thinking of what to do next, how to solve this problem, how can I become a global leader, or how can I become a great person in my field, right? So you have to have that motivation in order to push yourself to go beyond average and go on to becoming great. And that will also, you also need to have, what are your goals in life? Do you want to go to a corporate kind of a life? Do you want to go to social service? Do you want to interact with a lot of people? Do you want to travel? So you need to put all of that down and then decide what will help you decide. And then coming on to how. So basically, like I said, you need to collect all this information, talk to your peers, talk to your experts, talk to your mentors, talk to professionals, understand from them what is it about a certain industry that motivates them. What is it that motivates you? Is there a connection? Do you see a relation between what pushes you and what excites you, what keeps you interested, and what is there in that industry? If it is like we have had two people from the HR industry, maybe what keeps them motivated and excited is their ability to interact with people on a daily basis. So if that is what excites you, then get into a job, get into a profession where you'll be talking to a lot of people, right? And then once you have all this information, you then sit down, take your time, spend a lot of time on the factors that are going to influence it, and then decide. This is probably one of the most important decisions you'll make, and which is why you will have to spend sufficient time on it. And like I said again, now is the right time to do it. So my interest here in talking to you is not to give you gyan, as they say, or not to give you inputs on do this or this job will help you get money. This job will help you become a super success in your corporate career, or this field will help you launch the next big business. No, you need to do the thinking because you know what works for you, what is best. And this is the framework you could use to understand what you want to do with your life, what you want to do in your career. And it could be, and going on to the next slide, if there are any questions, you can ask me. I'm not able to, yeah. Okay, so I have just put in some ideas here just to kind of give you an indication on what's happening out there. I'm sure smart people like you will be aware of this. There's a lot of activity happening in social commerce. There's a lot of activity happening in climate change and environment protection. And there's a lot of things and new things, innovative things, exciting things happening in technology. And technology is a field that sort of encompasses various industries, and mechanical industry is right at the forefront of it. And I'll show you in a couple of slides how mechanical engineers like you can literally go into any field of your choice. So there is no dearth of choice. It is what you want to excel in. And if you want to excel in it, you have to be interested in. It's as simple as that. Okay. So in social commerce is what a lot of companies are trying to do nowadays. It's trying to bring together social networking, getting people's opinions, and trying to build businesses around people's natural behavior, right? People go onto social platforms like Facebook, maybe Instagram, and can we then from there get people to buy and comment and support products and services? So that in a nutshell is a summary of social commerce. Using social platforms, you do business, right? As simple as that. There are right and wrong things about it, but it's the way the industry is moving. And some of the companies that are trying to do it are Shopify, Amazon, Facebook, and my own company, eSamudra, right? So we are trying to build, like I said, local commerce, and it's a new trend happening out there. And here you can be involved as a designer, as a product developer. So there are multiple positions, and you can find out about these positions in your own way. This is, like I said, I am just helping you or pointing you in certain directions, but you will have to do the research. You will have to ask questions about yourself to yourself and introspect and then come up with the answers, right? Climate change. Again, climate change and environment protection is something that affects everybody, all industries, all companies. So literally the entire gamut of industries is open. Here you can become an innovation expert, a networking expert. When I say networking, it means that you have the ability to talk to various industries and make connections and see how you can bring about a change that helps the world by reducing the carbon footprint, by helping protect the environment. And last but definitely not the least, technology. So like I said, technology is big, right? You have technology in mechanical, you have technology coming into medical, you have technology coming into human behavior, cryptocurrency. So cryptocurrency is a big thing, and I'm sure you guys have all heard about Bitcoin. Vikas is nodding his head. So again, here I'd have hired Vikas because he's the only person who I know knows about Bitcoins, right? So I'm just saying, so there are various companies you can look at. Banks are looking at experts in Bitcoin because in cryptocurrency, government is looking for help because these are literally the evolving. Even as you are studying in college, these industries are evolving, and governments don't even have the legal structure to understand how this is evolving. It is that rapid, the change and the pace at which it is affecting all of us. So here you can get involved in operations, you can get involved in programming. It's all open. Literally, the choice of options is mind-boggling. There is no limit of choices, which is why I again go back to my earlier statement. Think about yourself. Think about what drives you. Think about what you want to do with your career and your life. Okay. Just again, let me talk about a little about, of course, now that you're finishing your engineering, there are also options on higher education. If you feel that, you want to continue your studies, you've not got enough of academic inputs from your engineering, and that can happen, and you want to specialize, there are options in India and overseas, and I'm sure you all know about it. I did my MBA in the US. I went through writing GMAT. I also went through the process of studying and evaluating between GMAT and GRE. That's for the US. Now it's not just limited to the US. There are many good colleges in Europe. There are many good colleges in Asia. There are good colleges in Australia. So you can look at many countries and decide if you want to go for higher studies, because that is also an option. It will make you a specialist to a certain extent, and it will give you then the platform. If you want to, let's say, continue and do further research, you can do your doctoral studies, PhD, right? So that is another option you should definitely not discount, because a PhD is a true measure that you are truly a master in your field. And if you want to be a master, yes, engineering gives you the basics. A master's degree will give you a higher level of knowledge. But to be a specialist, I think you would need a doctoral degree or a PhD. So that's an option, a career option you can think about. You can also think about, being in a corporate job as a professional. Here, if you want a structured kind of a job where you go, there are support systems in place. You walk into a company which will then help you to, there'll be a training program. So it's very structured. There'll be people to help you. You'll be put into a specific department. You might go through an orientation program. So it's very process oriented, right? You must have learned about processes in any one of the thermodynamic subjects or any one of the process oriented subjects that you've studied in engineering. So there is a set process, and this is good for some people who want support systems, who specialize in something. So a structured and process oriented thing, if you feel that is what is this, then you could look at a job. You could also look at, as a career alternative, research or teaching, right? And believe me, teaching is one of the, I know you might not agree with me right now. I've been an engineering student myself, and we've sometimes not liked our professors. But teaching, if you teach well, the gratitude you get from students is one of the most satisfying things you can get in your job. So teaching is a very rewarding career. And research, if you wish to go dig deep and come up with something that the world has not seen, then obviously research is the way to go. And this research can happen not just in the lab. Remember that. It can happen in the field. It can happen in rural areas. It can happen in towns. It can happen even in your hometown where you do a study, you pick a topic and you go deep. So the ability to go deep is something that you must have if you want to do research. Ask why not once, ask why, what, how 10 times, so that you go deeper and deeper until you reach the root. So that's following your interest. And for that, you have to be really passionate about it, right? And business, or you could say, let me do business. And I'm sure there are a lot of you who are interested in doing business because you think it gives you flexibility, it gives you freedom, you don't report to anybody, you are the master. But let me tell you, all that is a myth. I've been in business, and there is never a day or a time when you'll be free and you'll have the option to relax. Because when it's your business, it's your baby, you own it, and you can't cry about it to someone else as well. Everything you will be responsible for. You are the person who will have to answer, and you might think you have no boss, but the customer is your boss. Because finally, if the customer is not happy, the customer will call you and ask, who is owning this business? I want to talk to him or her. And let me talk and find out why she or he is not doing a good job. And then you will have to report. So business is not easy, but yes, it is. It gives you the chance, it gives you the freedom, it gives you that creative challenge. It allows you to follow your passion. You can start a business in what you want, and you can structure it and build it the way you want, right? So if you are passionate about that, then go on, do your own business. And then also there is the government factor, which is, bringing about social impact, bringing about a change. You want to do something for underprivileged children, you want to do something for improving literacy rates in your town, you can join the government. So there are competitive exams. There's the IAS, there's the Indian Rural Revenue Service, IRS, IPS. So all these give you options of bringing about social impact and bringing about change. So again, going back to my earlier slide, it all goes back to what you want, what drives you, right? So think about that. Think, this framework that I have given you of how, what, why should you go into it? What is it that interests you? What are you as a person? all of that, and then decide. And again, because I don't want to go far away from our core topic of, and you guys being mechanical engineers, this is just a menu of what you could do. And literally, you see, there is something for everybody, any interest, right? There is, someone spoke about 3D manufacturing, Industry 4.0. There is green manufacturing, agile manufacturing, mechatronics, robotics, energy solutions, self-driving cars, you name it, and almost every nanotechnology and all of that. And you know, nanotechnology sounds so hardcore engineering, but it is now being used in restaurants. You won't believe it. Nanotechnology. There are chefs who are experimenting with nanomolecules to impart flavors to food, right? So that's the kind of diversity you're looking at, and that's the kind of choice you have, and that allows you to someone is making a request to annotate something, so I'm just going to approve.
Sir, please don't approve annotations. There'll be a lot of scribblings on your screen.
Sorry, I'm sorry.
No
I'm
problem.
almost getting, I didn't
Yeah,
know
yeah,
that.
just go ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah, okay. So that's like you said, I got myself into trouble. I am how do I
So just stop sharing and start sharing, and you should be okay.
okay, yeah. Yeah. Okay. So I just want to wind up my presentation by quoting one of the most famous engineers and probably the first famous engineer of all time, Archimedes. And he said, "Give me a lever long enough, a fulcrum strong enough, and a place to stand, and I shall move this earth." And that is what you engineers are capable of. So with that, I want to end. Thank you. And I'm open to questions now or later as the organizers see fit.
Ravi, unshare the slide.
Yes, I will. Give me a minute, please.
Thank you very much, sir. We have a for taking them. Will it be okay, sir?
Absolutely. That's fine. I think I've stopped sharing. So is that okay?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you very much for motivating all of us to start taking the thought of entrepreneurship seriously. And also, you've highlighted thinking of something that that keeps you going and would like to do it for life. I also thank you for enlightening us with the future paths after completing mechanical engineering, and I'm sure the audience has a lot of key insights through this. I would now request Shivanand sir to tell us about his experiences in the field of research and development, and also tell us with the latest trends in the inventions and technology in the field of mechanical engineering. Over to you, sir.
Yeah. Good afternoon, friends. Can you see the slide? And can you hear me as well?
Yes, sir. The slides are visible, and we can hear you.
Okay, great. So basically, I am from an agricultural background, and my father used to say, when the ground is well prepared, you need not plant the seeds. Just throw it, and it will sprout. And exactly what I can tell you now, Santosh, Rajiv, and Ravi have kept the ground ready, and I just have to throw the seeds. I have to just speak out, and that's it. So, and I thank Subhashini for giving this opportunity to share the stage, virtual stage, with the prominent speakers like Santosh, Rajiv, and of course my friend Ravi. And I would request the students, at least this time, okay, as a special case, listen to me as a teacher, but not as a student. It's a different thinking today, because as a teacher, you will learn to teach somebody, then you will go into focus mode, and again, you will do some research, and you will transform the entire thing to the next, as a knowledge transfer. Whatever the bit I teach you today, probably that is how it will take forward. So uh, once again, welcome to Product Innovation through Simultaneous Engineering. Shetty Shivanand, a business field manager, simultaneous engineering, Bosch Limited. So I will today I would like to give you a short introduction about myself and the project management and simultaneous engineering in the project management, and then probably the next point, the next big thing for mechanical engineering. People have already covered many of the topics, and within these 15 minutes, probably any issues? Yeah. Can somebody mute if there are no points? Yeah. So yeah,
Excuse me, sir.
yeah,
It would be great if we can have your video on.
yeah. 1 minute. Video not working. It's grayed out. Why?
So I think it will start in a few seconds.
Oh, so can I proceed then?
Sure, sir. Sure, sir.
Yeah.
Thank
Yeah. Yes. Today I would like to give you a short introduction. Okay, this whatever I told you now, and yeah, here you can see my colorful professional life. How I started my engineering in NITK. Probably Ravi was one of my friend who is on the stage now. Then joined Bosch, completed my training. Then I was placed initially in the manufacturing and planning, where I was, made to learn about the processes, various processes, production processes, customer order management, all those things, and also the managing people. Then curiosity and creativity brought me into R&D. I was responsible for fuel injection pump development. I was handling export customers. Meanwhile, I was selected as technical executive to the vice president R&D, where I could see the organization on from the top as if I was the VP. I was handling, from the product strategy to the infrastructure development to all other topics. Then chose to work on system hydraulics and application. I was in charge for the commercial vehicle and off-highway projects in the common rail segment for the Indian projects. Then I was at Stuttgart on the advanced engineering, and later came back and started simultaneous engineering business field in India. So if I further move on, you will see many topics, where I came across in the 20 plus years of my life in Bosch and only in Bosch. Uh, Something, touching like, FEA fundamentals, abacus, FMEA, FEA, all those things. Then patents, audits, then design thinking, UX, PMP certification on the project management, various languages, which you need not go through. These are some of the topics where I came across. Now let us move to project management in simple in general. What is project management? I am presenting considering you are all students in the final year mechanical engineering. As a project management, how you can correlate in your general term? If you see, probably either your father or your friend's father might be building a house, and when they are doing that, probably they will do a strategy whether to build a house or should I rent. And if I am building a house, if I am buying a house, whether to build or whether to buy an apartment or something like that. He makes the strategy. Then he comes into the planning. Okay, where he will plan about the budget, the resources, and then timeline. All these aspects will happen, and finally, it is a unique product and it has a timeline. That's why you call it project. Now let us focus today only on you people. You can focus only on this and on the this is what we call project life cycle, where the project passes through all these phases of you will start with today my focus is on to make you as a make or to think in the direction of entrepreneur. From that angle I am doing this presentation. So as an entrepreneur, if you think today, you will be looking around, you will observe, what is the current problem. Okay, you may be thinking of certain solutions, or you will be thinking of a certain disruption technologies for the market where you can uh, you can cash in on. So in that direction you will think, and you will come up with many ideas. You will fix one idea, then these are all the gates where innovation gate 1, innovation gate 2, then proof of concept. This will pass through all these phases, and you will make a business case. You will make a workable model whether it works. Okay, so that way you may go into UX or the design thinking. So then probably it will go into the sample stage, then it will go to the series phase. It is as simple as that, because today all industries talk about the failures, because without failures, more than the success, people are focusing on the failures. Because if you don't try, okay, and if you don't fail, and you will not be able to build success on a failure. And okay, this everybody may be aware, when Edison was asked about, okay, about the 1,000 failures in his light bulb research, he simply told, these I had, okay, in this research I had 1,000 steps to reach the success. Okay, probably there will be failures, there will be impediments, but if you you can think in this direction also when it comes to challenge, when it comes to the challenges in this field. So combining this particular project management, probably we can think about the simultaneous engineering bringing into the project management. What is simultaneous and what is series? Simultaneous is one thing where you are doing things in parallel. Imagine you are developing a new passenger car for the world market. And what is a traditional engineering? You are thinking of an idea. You will start working on the board. You will do a sketch. You will do the modeling. You will do the analysis. Then you will go for the testing. All this done, and then you are going for the manufacturing setup. And then you will realize certain things are not manufacturable at all, and you will start the iteration. Or if you can manufacture, you can't manufacture in the cost what you have it in target. So to avoid that, you have to do the process also in parallel. As your father was thinking about, if I am doing this project of a house, how I will build it, how I will do this, integrate shape like a curve. Okay, all these things you would have already planned. Similarly, how you will build this model, how you will be able to make this produce, how you will be able to produce it in the series line, so that you will be thinking already at the time of design itself. Okay, so that's how the simultaneous engineering comes into picture, and how it looks. So as I told you, if you see the overall product development landscape, you will see how the simultaneous engineering works. Uh, you will start with the product strategy, and then requirement will be the foundation of any product development. Yeah, and the requirement development together with the the function clarity, the requirement, when you give a specification to that, that will become the function, and the requirement will be a voice of customer. And when it comes to function, it is the technical specification of that requirement what you indicate. And in this simultaneous engineering, the product process or the alternative product process, where you will be developing various combination of product design and process design, and you will be evaluating along with the complexity and variance, then process risk, cost, timeline. Okay, considering all these things as part of your product development, you will be finalizing one product process combination to take it further for the further development. That is what we call simultaneous engineering. Coming to the question mark, okay, what is that? The next big thing for mechanical engineers. Probably people are on one aspect, I would say, why we consider it's end of mechanical engineer. That is not the case. Probably if you consider the technology is changing, one thing probably, for example, if you consider only the automotive industry, here the IC engines are moving out and we are moving into electrical, or the research is happening also on the fuel cell. So from the diesel to gasoline to the electrical, the manpower requirement is reducing from 10 to 3 and 3 to 1. So that way, ideally, if you consider automotive industry alone, we need, I mean, the manpower requirement has reduced considerably because in electrical vehicles, we have very minimal components, unlike an IC engine. So the component requirement is reduced, and even there are no complications from the point of energy management. From that way, the component requirement in only in automotive industry it has reduced. But other aspects, like the aerospace, there is no change. There is no change in the, for example, the washing machine, if you consider, or the refrigeration, all these things, the component, finally the mechanical components we have to manufacture. But if you consider the industry itself, we are talking about, currently we are talking about industry 4.0, where obviously one thing, on one hand, okay, it's automotive industry, of course it makes the major portion of the factory setup as of today, and of course we have already reduced the manpower in that angle, if you consider. But at the same time, we are also going into connected industries, industry 4.0, automation. These are all the things, obviously will reduce the manpower required in the factory itself. But at the same time, if you consider the country like, Southeast Asian market or India itself, we have around 36 people in 1,000 have cars. There is a huge volume we have to cover. Of course, the current factory what we have one, that will become 10, because uh, even the requirement of not only the automotive components, but at the same time other components are also entering to the market. New things are coming in market, and we are producing it, and this needs additional manpower. And even for making the industry connected, for that also we need manpower, but it is not this the normal manpower. We have to change with the trend. We have to be ready with the a new technology in our hand. For example, uh, for the connected cars, for the autonomous driving, for all these things, there are various fields where we need the manpower even today. For example, in the autonomous driving, we need functional safety experts. Then we have the requirement of people with artificial intelligence knowledge, and our products are reaching the even the rural market, and we need the developers for the augmented reality, the virtual reality, then AIoT, all these things, even the data analytics. Today, the factories are manufacturing components in millions. So today, we are not selling one or two components, we are selling in millions. And for all these things, we need analytics expert. How many we have? Yeah, how many engineers we have with artificial intelligence? It is not like earlier time where I will do mechanical engineering and I will join some factory or an industry. It is like now, I would say it is like doctors, where just with an MBBS yeah, it is not finished. Now just like when we do the MBBS, they have to go for specialization, or a surgeon, ENT, heart, cardiology, whatever. Okay, similarly, probably post mechanical engineering, we have to put some more effort, either to focus on the it can be digital twin, it can be artificial intelligence, or it can be internet of things. All this area, it is not just for the software engineers. Here we are also required, and probably if you start with a mechanical industry and adding these knowledges, it will be a boon, because we in Bosch, we have both software area as well as the mechanical area, and the software engineers, this is the reality, they don't have the practical knowledge, and you having an extra knowledge of, it can be on the expertise on the IoT itself, or it can be machine learning, or it can be data analytics. These are all the things required with practical as a base, and probably you will win over there. And at this point of time where we have the COVID, you have to use this time, to find out, okay, as a mechanical engineer, what else I can do, what other competence I can develop, so that I will be able to get into a good field. And lastly, considering the time, I don't want to overboard on this topic. The last points I would say, you are still in the beginning of your career, and you are working. And considering that we are all now already we have reached certain level. So when you are working, if you fall down, it's not a big impact. So identify your interest, identify your potential, the market need, and your need. And accordingly, you develop, hone your knowledge and skill, think out of the box. I would suggest be an entrepreneur, considering this COVID situation. Even India and the government is supporting more and more on the startup. And if you have a very good startup idea, you can already even Bosch has certain incubation centers. We can look into that also. But you and your talent, that is what finally matters. So my last message: be come with an entrepreneur mindset, and if not, be ready with the trending topics to face with the challenge. Thank you once again. If you have any questions, you can chat. You can type in the chat box with my name in it. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir, for explaining us various processes that go on in the field of research and development, and also explaining us about simultaneous engineering. You've correctly highlighted that although there is a reduction in the manpower requirement in the automobile industry owing to IR 4.0, but there are many other doors that have opened at the same time. And also artificial intelligence is another major area to explore. Students should keep on upskilling themselves. Having said that, our esteemed panels have beautifully laid out the corporate expectations, and also some of us already know what has been shared and also spent money in random ways to upskill, hoping to land in the dream job of their own. Also, the experience panels highlighted the importance of taking hands-on experiences, which can be done through internships, as they train you for your future challenges. What you do after this is what starts your journey. Is it possible? Well, the question is, do you want it? And Rare Minds over the last 20 years has been delivering talent experience for both companies and individuals. Our testimonials help say proof that we are here to indeed help you. We offer guaranteed placements for those who are in colleges and also who are out of it. Training and services is a part of what we do to ensure that you're trained as per your field of interest and also the requirements of the company. Some of the programs that we offer are 1.5-year programs supporting you with your internships, projects, training, and placements as well. This is an intensive course which takes care of all the professional expertise that you need to acquire before you land to that dream job of yours. And then we have the workshops which teach you with the advanced skills that you need to acquire before to be ahead of the competition. During the pandemic, Team Rare Minds has continued to place individuals in Mumbai, Gujarat, Hyderabad, Tamil Nadu, West Bengal, and various other streams in various cities in multiple streams. Also, career counseling, psychometric tests, aptitude, and technology workshops are all a part of our usual offerings. But what is crucial is knowing from the basic, like stream specific MS Excel, to your own brand and online presence. Social media is not about random networking, but meaningful content representing you. So stop the copy paste of resumes in 100. A video resume is a must. Be the trendsetter, and if you are already out of the college and have some minimal experience but have lost a job through owing to the pandemic, we are a recruitment firm since 20 years, and believe us, we are good at it. You can hire a personal recruiter and help you land a job. It's never too late to do the right thing. So please check our website and you can also contact us. I'm entering the details in the chat box. I would now like to open the forum for questions. If any of the members in the audience wants to ask us any questions, may put them in the chat box. I'm sure the speakers would be more than happy to take them. Ravi sir, there was one question. I think I've lost it somewhere, but there was a question that I have a startup idea, but I don't know whom to approach. How should I go about it?
Okay, so I'm assuming that this person, the student, is still in college. So what I would suggest as the first steps to be done would be to approach the entrepreneurship cell of your college, if there is one, and with a proper plan or a proposal. First, put down your ideas on paper. Make a plan as to what exactly. See, I don't know the idea, so I cannot give you specific inputs, and this is not the forum for specific inputs as well. But put down your ideas on paper. Do some kind of a validation with people whom you trust. In the sense, talk to them, ask them. Sometimes what happens when we come up with an idea, we tend to fall in love with the idea because it is our idea, and we are unable to see anything wrong with it. So talk to a few people with whom you trust in order to get their viewpoint. Is it really a great idea? Is it already out there in some other form? How big can you make this idea, or is it something that will change certain town or a place? So those are the kind of questions you ask. Then you can approach your entrepreneurship cell, or you can if you need money, or you can approach certain government organizations that give seed funding for ideas. You'll have to follow the paperwork for that. You can also talk to, if it is a question of finances, to friends and family and give them the idea. Prepare what is called as a pitch, where you explain the idea, you explain the way it will work, and what is the potential market you are going after. And then you create a investor pitch. You can show it to your friends and family, people who have a little bit of money to invest, who trust you, and try and build a team, because it's very difficult to do a business from scratch alone. I would suggest having 3 or 4 people, but at least 2, so that you can challenge each other, bounce ideas of each other, and you can support one another when you feel a little down, or when you want someone to pull you up. So these are some initial steps you can take, and which would apply to any kind of a business. I hope that helps.
Right. Thank you, sir. Another question we have here is, how important is coding skills for a mechanical engineer? Any of the panel members would like to take up this question?
I think
Repeat, please.
Shivanand can probably take this question if
Can you
Mr.
repeat the
Rao or
question,
Mr.
please?
Belur
Can you
is not
repeat?
taking.
Repeat, please.
Yes. The question is, how important are coding skills in a mechanical engineering company?
In mechanical engineering, purely there will be no coding at all. In mechanical engineering, we will be using the software for the application only. But again, when it comes to even in the if you consider Bosch itself, we have both the mechanical section as well as the software section. When it comes to artificial intelligence, yeah, they will be working in the software section itself. But of course, even we will be changing over from the mechanical area to the latest technologies like artificial intelligence, AIoT, all these aspects. So in mechanical engineering, there is no coding, you can take it.
Right. Thank you, sir.
Yeah,
Another
Vaishnavi, I
question.
would like to answer one question. I think somebody called Shubham had written,
Yes, sir.
talked about confusing students with the first angle, third angle projection. Is it a right way to judge someone? It's not something that we enjoy confusing people with, but it is more to understand whether the person sitting in front of you can read a drawing properly. If these basics are not in place, then it's very tough on the shop floor when an actual drawing is given and you read it wrongly. Yeah, so more important at the fresher stage is the basics have to be strong. The leadership skills and decision making, all that will come at a later stage when you have actually started learning what is to be done and how it is to be done. Decision making comes much later. That's what I wanted to tell Shubham on that. I hope I have answered your question, Shubham. Santosh sir, would you like to add something on that?
Yeah. I just want to add to Mr. Rajiv whatever you said. So here actually the question is not important. The spirit behind asking is important.
Yeah.
For example, whether the person is clear in what he talks, that makes, that's very important for the interviewer. Let's say, for example, the interviewer is asking a person who is the Chief Minister of Karnataka, right? So it is not important for me to know whether that person knows who is Chief Minister of Karnataka, but whether he has got the habit of updating himself, right? Is he tuned with the recent developments? That is what it makes the difference to us. So in fact, actually, many times we ask about the cutting speed and all things. So as Raju sir said, it is basically the clarity in thinking, and even in the presentation also said, a person should have the passion. So if the person has the passion, then not only what is taught to him, but he will do something extra also to understand this concept in depth. That's what I just wanted to say. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you, sir. Thanks for adding that.
Thank you, sir. Another question we have here is perfect design engineer, what it takes to be one, and how and where to start. Also, there is one more question regarding to the same. What courses, maybe he's asking, what courses should I choose after mechanical engineering so that I can go into designing? Any of the panel members?
Yeah, I will take it, Shivanand Shetty.
Sure.
Basically, can I start?
Yes, please,
Hello,
sir.
can you hear me? Yeah. Yes. Don't think it is a small industry or a big industry and the money aspect, all those things. Probably you should start even with the basic R&D in a small industry. That is also fine, but you should have that. Please check whether you have that real interest and strength. Okay, then only venture into this. Otherwise, don't join that. Yeah, that is the first thing. Second thing, if you don't have a job, probably the future field will be mostly into the uh, analysis, like FEA. It can be Abacus or ANSYS or Hypermesh, all those things. These are the fields, which will be required always in future also. So you can focus on that. You understand the basic property. The first thing is on the GD&T, that is the basic, then especially on then drawings, then probably on the modeling software like ProE, UG, all these aspects, those things will be your basics. Then in CATIA, some analysis or even Abacus. You can take that route and you can be a very good designer.
Yeah, I would like to add one more small thing here. 90% of the applications that I receive from fresh mechanical engineers want to be in the design. It's not honestly not possible to hire so many design engineers in any organization. It's impossible. So there are other fields. I would request people to look at other fields also. Even production is a very good field. PPC is good. Like I said, I want mechanical engineers to come into HR. That's a fantastic opportunity there. Then there is maintenance and then quality. Quality inspectors are in very high demand. So there are a lot many fields that people can look at. Don't get just hung up on design. That's what I want to add. Not everybody can be hired in design. Yeah.
Yeah, I just want to add both Shivan Shetty and Ravi sir. So basically here actually if you look at what additional skills are required, that also depends on the industry where you want to go. So Mr. Ravi perfectly told about the direction, right? So we always say direction is more important than the speed. So if the person decides that this is my destiny, I want to join, say, let us say, automobile industry. So then I will do my homework. What kind of additional skills are required apart from mechanical engineering? Let us say you want to go to aviation, right? So in the aviation sector, what are the additional skills required apart from mechanical, that engineering? So that homework, if it does with vision, that's what I mentioned in my PPT, that visioning is very important in the coming days. Unless the person has got a vision where he wants to land up, then it will be very difficult. So as somebody said, only having just mechanical engineering, skill, that may not be enough. So the plus alpha is important. To decide plus alpha, you should have your vision where you want to go.
Thank you, sir. The next question here is, what are the opportunities for robotics sector? What can be the job roles for robotics? Any of the panel members can take up the question.
Robotics again, don't think robotics means it's only a robot. It's again also connected to automation of the process itself. This is also required in every industry. Okay, in every industry, whatever you have the activities which are regular in nature, those things they want to automate, and in that area also people are required. And combining with your practical knowledge and this robotic technology, probably it will be useful. Yeah, a bit of software is required when it comes to robotics.
Right, sir. Thank you very much. Another question is for Ravi, sir. Tahir Matte is asking, how did you start the business and what interests you to go into that?
Yeah, okay. Yeah. So again, it comes to my point of what is it that interests you? What are your skills? And what do you want to do in your with your career, your life, right? So you have to sit down and you have to think and say, okay, I want to start a business, but to start a business, I need to be able to handle many things. I need to be able to build a team. I need to be able to organize the financial resources. I need to be able to crack the marketing part of it. If you're producing something, then you need to have the production know-how. And what is it that is different that you're doing that nobody else has done before if you want to be successful? So if you have the answers and all of them are pointing in the right direction, then it's up to you, right? So when I had this inner thing that I wanted to, inner desire that I wanted to run my own business, so everything I did kind of pulled me towards that. So I did my MBA, then I worked for some time, did my MBA, then I came back and again worked for some time to get some experience, and then started my own business. And you have to decide. So there is no right or wrong answer, or there is no set this that if you are such a person, you can start your own business. It's your interest and it's your desire. So that's what I would like to say. Vaishnavi, there's a couple of people asking about internships, and I think that is something that is a lot of people have on their mind. So maybe we can take a shot at that.
Sure, sir.
Yeah, so I'll also would request my panel members to answer, but I'll just give a quick thing. So it says, can you tell how one can join internships as an engineering student, how to get internships? Well, this is all about reaching out, right? Like I said, put your efforts, show up. What you need to do is write to companies, show them that you're interested in what they do, show that you have. And how do you show that you're interested? You show that you've either done a project in college, or you have done some research work, or you have an idea. So there has to be some background thought. There has to be some, like Shivanand mentioned earlier, you have to make sure that the field is ready for sowing of seeds. So get some basic work together, and then reach out to companies, reach out through your network, LinkedIn, talk to people, get connections, and ask people can you help me to do this, and people want to help, right? So reach out and then say that this is what I've done, this is my field, I would like to do an internship, and don't worry about the pay. Do it so that you get experience, you get an extra edge. And then once that happens, who knows, the company might decide that you've done good work and they'll absorb you. I'll hand it over to my panel members to answer.
Yeah, I just want to add to Mr. Ravi. So of course, internship is a very good opportunity to understand the factory atmosphere, work culture, systems, etc. So here actually the role of the college also comes into picture. So the college has to have a very good strong network with the industry, right? So then what happens is if one industry they don't get opportunity, they will be able to place in some other industry. So of course now actually many times we get a request from the students also. Then we route it through the college placement cell. However, as Mr. Ravi said, don't look at the payment or salary kind of thing. But whenever it comes, please take it. And also, we always have a request for the college. It should not be a very short internship because we are using our own resources. We appoint some trainer there. There will be mentor for them. So and also we'll be giving them specific projects. So if it's a internship for a month, then actually by the time they understand the company, the time comes to leave. So normally we take for say 3 months or 6 months in idea where the person can contribute to the industry as well as he can learn a lot of things and he can do the justice the internship. This request we have been making with the institutes also. So, however, 3 months also that kind of internship it can be planned. So then we can always look at supporting because we take this internship very seriously. It is not that some person comes, sits, and goes. So that is not the real intent. But when the person comes for internship, then we allot a person who will be coaching them on daily basis, and there will be frequent reporting, and there will be reviews at senior level. So this kind of internship we are encouraging. So definitely, we request institutes also to build the network so that we can support the colleges. Thank you.
Yeah, and there are also government of India schemes like board of apprentice training. Once you're done with your engineering, you can enroll yourself there, and companies do pick up. And government of India supports in terms of training of all these technical skills. They're all quite fantastic opportunities for the people. Not many people know it, but it is BOAT, boat. Just check on the Google, and you should be able to get it. You can register yourself there, and companies do pick it up.
Thank you, sir. Another question here is, what are the opportunities and certified courses into the quality department, as well as in oil field as a mechanical engineer after doing masters in petroleum?
Shall I take?
Sure, sir.
Yeah, one portion of the question, okay, on the quality aspect. Probably the engineers can already, there are outside courses available specifically on the, okay, earlier we were calling ISO TS 16949, now it is IATF 16949. Similar thing, such courses. Then on the statistics, Six Sigma, all these things, okay, are the courses which are available outside already. At least the basic they can cover on this.
Right, sir. Thank you. I'm just searching for more questions if we have. Is MBA still worth it? And another question is online MBA worth to go for?
Okay, I'll take that. And I think Mr. Rao, Mr. Velur, as from an HR perspective, they can also share whether they consider an MBA degree enough value to hire someone. My answer to that, it is worth it. Depend how much effort you put into it, right? And what you expect from an MBA. So an MBA exposes you to the business aspects, which normally you are not exposed to, obviously, in engineering, because in engineering, you're focusing on the basics. You're focusing on engineering topics, thermodynamics, strength of materials, electrical engineering, elements of mechanical engineering, all of those. Now, the MBA, if you are interested in starting your own business, an MBA may be worth it. And as long as you get into a good program that challenges you to think and has good participation from people. When I say participation from people, I mean the other colleagues or your other batchmates in the MBA program are people who will push you and challenge you and make you work harder rather than just going through the requirements of the course in a mechanical way. So it depends on that. And as far as an online MBA is concerned, again, it's the same thing. An online MBA will give you knowledge. It will give you the inputs, but it will not give you the interpersonal skills which you get by interacting with, during presentations, during group discussions, group projects. But then it is something. And an online MBA is also obviously cheaper. When you say worth, I'm assuming you're evaluating it from a cost benefit perspective. So it does add finance information which normally engineering students lack, on how to read balance sheets, how to manage your cash flow, how do you run the business, what is working capital. So all those inputs you receive. So yes, it will add to your knowledge. Whether you want to learn that on the job or you want to learn it from an academic course is your call, right? So it can add value provided you put proper effort into it. Over to my other panelists.
Thank you, sir. I think rightly said. So MBA or any other, this kind of courses are nothing but value addition, right? So that depends on the person's affordability as well as his hurry to join the company. So let us say, for example, in Toyota, we always consider, qualifications only for entry, but afterwards, what decides your destiny is the performance, right? So let us say a person wants to get into finance or HR job, but he's a mechanical engineer or any engineer, for example. Then you must have MBA. But somebody joins as an engineer, then he wants to scale up maybe to other role. It could be HR, it could be finance, or where this MBA is required. Then online courses also okay. But ultimately, how we expand the knowledge with this kind of added courses is important. So yeah, that's it.
Right. So we are already over time. The questions are a lot. And the last question maybe from Samarth, he wants that please Ravi sir perspective on coding or IT field for mechanical engineering graduate.
My perspective on coding is IT field or IT field for mechanical engineering graduates. See, it is, you're a mechanical engineer. You have been given skills to do something on the field, in the plant, on the ground. My suggestion is apply some of that knowledge which you have gained for a year or two, absorb that knowledge, and then if you want to shift, you move to coding or IT field. Because if you straight away move to coding or IT field, it might mean that you are discarding all that you have learned over the last 4 years. So my advice would be, now you're at a position in life where you have the freedom and flexibility to explore, right? So explore what is it that interests you. You can do a short internship. Do a short internship in coding. Do a short internship in the IT field. See if it is interesting for you and then take a decision. I don't want to make that decision for you. I am just telling you how you can arrive at that decision, right? So do an internship, do a project, or do a deep study on what coding will, why is it that coding interests you? Is it the money? Is it because you're going to be at the desk all day? Or is it because you can work by yourself? You know, you can, or are you so passionate about coding that then, you know, then you, fine. But then you have to understand that you're giving up your mechanical engineering knowledge. And I would suggest try and do a internship or a job in mechanical engineering for a year or 2 years, and then decide whether, and remember, whatever knowledge you gain is never wasted. You can at some point in time apply it somewhere, or it will help you become a better person. Thank you.
Yeah, Vaishnavi, there was one more question on this salary. Somebody was, asking what will be the starting salary. Somebody comes 7,000 rupees, something like that. So I just want to comment on that.
Yes.
So my suggestion would be, especially for the freshers. So if there is an opportunity to get into a corporate, please don't look at the salary. So the salary depends on the affordability, right? So the salary structure of one company may not be same as other company. But what you need to see is whether the work culture is good, whether there is opportunity to scale up, whether the company is really adding the value to you, what kind of skills you can gain. So if, and what will be the future prospect of the industry itself. So if you can look at these things and then join a company, it is better, because basically as a fresher, your negotiating power for salary it is low. That's a fact. So don't look at the salary as a whole criteria to decide whether you can join corporate or not. The value addition is the key for the freshers. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. I would like to just add, the benchmarks for salaries in different industries different. Somebody was commenting IT guys get 25,000 starting salary. All that is fine. But, understand one thing, mechanical engineers can keep, then they need not have to reinvent themselves every 3 years. They need not have to learn new technology every 3 years. They can keep doing better in whatever they know already and improve upon themselves in whatever they already know. So, it's very easy to compare yourself with everybody and anybody outside in the world. Like, my production engineers, once came to me and said, my friends in sales are getting so much of incentives. I'm not getting anything. I'm the one who is producing, but they are getting the incentives. It's easy to compare yourself, but there are different benchmarks in different industries. So, you need to decide upon what is that you want and how is that you want to take up your career forward. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much, sir. I thank you everyone for attending this webinar, and due to paucity of time, we cannot take more questions. I'm sure all of you have had a multiple takeaways from the entire session, and what after this session.
Vaishnavi, I think Vaishnavi, I think we should take one more question. Vikas is the only person with video on and he wants to ask a question. I think we should go with that. We can wait.
Sure.
We can wait. Yeah. Let's give him a chance. Go ahead, Vikas. Type your question. I think you need to unmute. He's trying to speak.
I think he has entered the question here.
Okay.
Okay, I'll unmute him. The question is, I want to know if I can get placed if I'm having sound knowledge, some softwares for analysis, human handling skills, motivating skills, problem solving, and if I take some internship with the HR and some exposure to MBA online course, can I get placed?
Santosh sir, would you like to take that question?
Yeah, I mean, ultimately it depends on the kind of the position what we are looking for, what kind of skills are required. Okay, we cannot say this is the perfect combination, right? So ultimately, for that job role, what is required, whether we are fulfilling that, and then with whom you are competing. I think those two factors are very, very important to decide whether one person gets placed or not. But definitely, whatever you have mentioned, right? Whether it's a human handling skill, motivating skill, etc. These are all fantastic skills, and then this must be there. In fact, this is one of the problems we face. Many of the engineers they do not have this because these are not taught in the colleges. So definitely, please develop on this. Placement, anyway, you leave it to the people who can decide on that. But developing on the skills is very, very important. And at least you have that flag for these skills. I am very happy. Thank you.
Fantastic. Because I hope it answers your question. By looking at the skills that you have mentioned, you want to move into HR. Welcome.
I just want to say, I think Vikas can get placed 5 or 6 times, not once, because if he has sound technical knowledge, he can get a job.
Yes.
Software, he can get a job. Human handling skills, you can get a job. It all depends on when you say sum, how much is that sum, right? So you have to dig deep and make sure you are respected for the knowledge you have. So keep that in mind, and I'm sure you can get a job. It's not a big field. It's not that difficult. Be positive.
Thank you very much, sirs, for taking up the question so enthusiastically. I would also like to thank our experienced panel members for taking out time despite their busy schedules. And the session was nothing less than insightful, encouraging, and valuable at the same time. I request all our participants to shower their feedback by filling this form. As expect, I'm entering the link in the chat box. Please fill this feedback form. It keeps us going and giving and getting better and better webinars for you going ahead. As expected, the mixed audience of faculties, HODs, and TPO and upcoming mechanical engineers have received takeaways from the session. We appreciate the clarity given while answering the questions. Team Rare Minds thanks all the participants for taking out time and efforts to listen actively and participating in this webinar. This was a small effort by Team Rare Minds to bring you close to the industry trends, and I think we have been successful with your participation. Are now motivated to get you more such sessions. We wish you all we wish you all to stay safe, and thank you everyone. I hope you have a good day. We now declare the webinar as over, but please fill the feedback form.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.